Hey, I know life can get loud. Deadlines, bills, stress, the messages that keep popping up on your phone, the thoughts that won't slow down when you're just trying to sleep. It's easy to feel like you're caught up in a storm, waves crashing around you. The wind is howling and everything around you is spinning out of control. And when you're in it, clarity feels impossible. You can't think straight. You can't see the bigger picture. You can barely catch your breath. But let me remind you that storms don't last forever. The calm that you're looking for, it's not found out there, it's inside of you already. You have the power to slow the wind, to calm the waves, not by controlling everything around you, but by controlling what's going on inside of you. Step 1, control the controllables. When the chaos hits, your mind wants to control everything, but that only makes the storm bigger. So instead, ask yourself, what's one thing that I can control right now? It might be slowing your breathing. It might be getting up 30 minutes earlier to start your day. It might be making a list of the most important things that you need to tackle. Small actions create small wins, and small wins start to build momentum. So step 2 is anchor yourself in the present. Anxiety loves to live in the future. Regret likes to live in the past. Calm likes to live in the present. When your mind races ahead to what could go wrong, pull it back with this simple question. Ask, what is true about this exact moment right now? You're here, you're breathing, you have survived every tough day up until this moment. That's the truth. Step 3 is reframe the storm. Sometimes the chaos is just life rearranging itself for you. The setback is teaching you resilience. The delay is teaching you patience. The loss is opening space for something new. You may not see the full reason right now, but one day you're going to look back and realize the storm wasn't breaking you, it was making you. Step 4, protect your mental space. In chaotic seasons, your mind is like a garden. The more weeds you let in, well, then the flowers can't grow. Be intentional with what you let in, the news you watch, the people you hang out with, the thoughts you entertain. Fill your space with voices that lift you higher. Fill your days with things that bring you peace. That's how you keep clarity alive, even when the world feels unclear. Here's the thing. Calm is not something you stumble across when life finally becomes perfect. It's a skill. It's a mindset. It's something that you build along the way, even in the middle of a storm. Because you are not the wind. You are not the waves, but you are the captain. And no matter how wild the storm gets, you have the ability to steer towards clarity. So take a deep breath. Decide what matters most. Let go of what you can't control and keep moving forward. The storm will pass, and when it does, you'll be stronger, you'll be clearer, and more grounded than you were before. You can't have a strong mind and ignore your body. And you can't have a strong body while neglecting your mind. We often treat our physical health and our mental health like two separate things, but they are deeply connected. What happens in your mind affects your body, and what happens in your body affects your mind. You can't care for one and expect the other to thrive because they work as a team. And let's be honest, life is stressful. There's pressure, there's noise and anxiety. And sometimes our first instinct is to try and think our way through it. But often the most powerful shift happens when we start with the body. When you move your body, your brain responds. Just 20 minutes of exercise, walking, stretching, or lifting can release chemicals in your brain that fight off sadness, fear, and even self-doubt. Your thoughts literally start to change when your body gets moving. And the opposite is also true. When you're stressed, your body tightens up, your chest feels heavy, your stomach turns, and your heart races. That's not just in your head, that's your body trying to keep up with your thoughts. So what do we do with this connection? We start paying attention. We stop ignoring the signs. If your mind feels overwhelmed, maybe your body needs a break. And if your body feels sluggish, maybe your mind needs a reset. One of the most powerful things you can do for both is to create daily habits that support the connection. Things like drinking more water. I know it's simple, but most of us are walking around dehydrated, and it affects our energy, our mood, and even our ability to think clearly. Number 2 is get more quality sleep. This isn't weakness, it's recovery. See, your brain can't process life when it's exhausted. Your body can't heal when it's running on empty. Number 3 is you have to eat food that fuels, not just fills you. We all love comfort food, but too much sugar, junk, and caffeine doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your focus, your confidence, and your mental stability. And finally, practice stillness. Whether it's meditation, prayer, deep breathing, or just quiet reflection, find 5 minutes a day to sit with your thoughts and just breathe. Your nervous system needs it, your heart rate will thank you. But beyond these points is another key habit, and that's movement. Regular movement teaches your brain that you're safe, that you're strong, that you're doing something to help yourself, even when life feels heavy. Your mind starts to believe it when your body shows the way. Now here's something a lot of people forget. The mind and body also work together in what you say to yourself. Negative self-talk wears down your mental health, but it also impacts your physical posture, your energy levels, and your drive. Just one harsh thought can make you want to slump your shoulders and stop trying. But encouragement, self-belief, and kind words, they lift you up. Your chest opens, your breath deepens, your body stands tall, and you feel more alive. This is the healthy mind and body connection. When one part of you is struggling, the other part can help. Your body can carry your mind when it's tired, and your mind can focus your body when it's weak. Together, they help you show up day after day, stronger, steadier, more alive. So take care of both. Nourish your body, challenge your mind, rest when you need it, move when you can. Speak to yourself like someone worth fighting for, because you are. Success, happiness, and peace, it doesn't come from one or the other. It comes when your whole self is working together. Everyone is jealous of what you've got. No one is jealous of how you got it. Success is admired. The spotlight is celebrated. The final product being the wealth, the recognition, the confidence. That's what people see. And let's be honest, envy follows success like a shadow. But no one envies the struggle. No one wishes for the nights you spent doubting yourself. No one wants the failures, the rejections, the pain that came before the reward. They see the house, but not the hours. They see the strength, but not the sacrifice. They see the victory, but not the wounds. And that's the problem. Too many people want the end result without the process. They want the reward without the discipline, the respect without the work, the success without the struggle. But that's not how it works. Every person who has built something great has paid a price. Behind every win is a collection of losses that no one talks about. People admire the athlete on the podium, but who wants to wake up at 4 a.m. for years, training in pain, pushing through exhaustion? People admire the millionaire, but who wants to risk everything, fail 10 times, and spend years in uncertainty? People admire the confidence, but who wants to battle self-doubt, push past criticism, and stand alone when no one believes in you? You can't separate the prize from the price. So stop comparing, start creating. When you see someone's success, don't envy it, study it. Instead of saying they're lucky, ask, what did they do that I'm not doing? Because the truth is, envy is a distraction. It keeps you looking at someone else's life instead of building your own. It makes you resent what you don't have instead of working for what you want. There's a reason not everyone is successful. The road is painful, it's exhausting, it's long. But the ones who make it, they aren't superhuman. They don't have special privileges. They just didn't quit. They did the work when no one noticed. They took the hits and kept going. They weren't chasing approval, they were chasing something bigger. You know what's hard? Waking up broke, hating your job, feeling stuck. You know what else is hard? Waking up early, working when you don't feel like it, failing, learning, and pushing forward. One hard leads to success, the other leads to regret. So pick your hard. When you finally get there, when you finally succeed, it won't be luck. It won't be handed to you. It will be because you showed up, you fought through the storms, and you refused to quit. And by then, you won't care about the jealousy, because you'll know what it took. You'll know what you paid. And you'll stand taller, not because people admire you, but because you admire yourself. When life takes a wrong turn, our instinct very often is to point outward. We blame circumstances, people, or even fate, like the job market isn't fair, the economy is terrible, that person betrayed me. Blame is easy. It allows us to protect our ego, to avoid discomfort, and to tell ourselves that our struggles are beyond our control. And it may be hard to hear, but blame won't fix anything. It won't move you forward. It won't rewrite your story. The only thing that can truly create change is taking responsibility for your life. Now, responsibility doesn't mean self-criticism. It doesn't mean tearing yourself down or carrying guilt for everything that goes wrong. It means owning your role in your circumstances so that you can actually do something about it. Because if you refuse to acknowledge your part in the situation, you also give up the power to change it. If your career is stuck in neutral, what are you doing to develop your skills, expand your network, or create new opportunities? If your relationships keep ending in heartbreak, what patterns are you repeating? Are you choosing the same kind of partner? Are you bringing unresolved wounds into every connection? If your health is declining, why haven't you prioritized your well-being? Are you making excuses instead of making changes? There's an old saying, when you point a finger at someone else, 3 fingers point back at you. And that's not meant to shame you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you created the problem, then you also have the ability to create the solution. That's where the power lies. This mindset shift isn't easy. It requires humility. It requires self-awareness. And it requires the courage to look at yourself honestly, without judgment, but with a determination to improve. It's not about blaming yourself, it's about empowering yourself. You probably know people who constantly blame the world for their problems. What happens to them? They stay stuck. They wait for external forces to change, hoping for a lucky break, waiting for someone to come and fix things for them. But the people who take responsibility, they adapt, they grow, they find a way. They learn from failure instead of being defined by it. When things go wrong, it's time to reflect, adjust, and take action. Instead of complaining about the things you can't control, focus on what you can. Instead of dwelling on what's broken, look for ways to rebuild. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. Change takes time. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when it's tempting to fall back into old habits of blame and frustration. But every time you choose to take responsibility instead, you take another step forward. At the end of the day, the most powerful transformation you'll ever experience won't come from luck or external circumstances. It will come from the moment you decided to stop waiting and start owning every part of your life. Unfortunately, most times there are no warnings before your world as you know it begins to shatter. One moment everything seems intact, and the next, the pieces are scattered at your feet. It's heartbreak, failure, loss. They come out of nowhere, leaving us fractured, unsure if we'll ever feel whole again. But your brokenness isn't the end of your story. What if I told you that these moments can become your greatest masterpiece? There's an ancient art in Japan called kintsugi. Kintsugi, which means golden joinery, is an art form that repairs broken pottery by filling the cracks with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. So instead of hiding the flaws, it celebrates them. The breaks become part of the story, transformed into something more beautiful than before. This philosophy teaches us a powerful truth. We are not meant to be discarded when life breaks us. We are meant to be rebuilt, stronger and more valuable than ever. Think about the hardships you faced, the disappointments, the betrayals, the moments where you questioned your worth. Now, it's easy to believe that these cracks make you less, that they diminish your value. But kintsugi tells us something different. It tells us that our scars don't make us weak. They make us unique. They don't take away from our beauty, they add to it. They are proof that we've survived, and that we've endured, and that we're still standing. The world often tells us to conceal our pain, to cover up our struggles, and to present a version of ourselves that looks untouched by hardship. But real strength doesn't come from appearing perfect. It comes from embracing every part of our journey. It's the smooth and the jagged, the triumphs and the setbacks. Just like a kintsugi bowl, we are made whole again, not by erasing the past, but by highlighting the resilience it took to overcome it. Rebuilding after a setback isn't easy. It takes time, it takes patience, and most of all, it takes a willingness to see value in what remains. You might be tempted to throw in the towel, to believe that the damage is beyond repair. But you are not beyond repair. You are not broken beyond hope. Every crack is an opportunity for transformation. It's a chance to turn pain into power and struggle into strength. So wear your scars with pride. Let them tell a story of survival, of growth, of undeniable resilience. You are not less because of what you've been through. You are more. You are more wise. You are more compassionate. You are more unshakable. The beauty of kintsugi is not in the gold that fills the cracks, but in the lesson that nothing and no one is ever truly beyond restoration. You are a masterpiece in the making. Let your golden seams shine. I know it's easy to point fingers when things go wrong. I know it's tempting to blame others, our circumstances, or the resources we don't have. But let's be real, blaming doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't move us forward. And it doesn't make life any better. Blaming is a trap that keeps you stuck. You know what's hard? Owning it. Taking responsibility for where we are, even when it's uncomfortable. But that's where the magic happens. See, change begins when we stop blaming and start owning. When we stop telling ourselves lies like, it's not my fault, or if only I had more support, and instead say, what can I do to change this? Let's get something straight. Nobody has lied to you more than you've lied to yourself. We all do it. We tell ourselves stories to justify why we're not where we want to be. Like, I didn't have the right connections. I wasn't given the same opportunities. If only they hadn't done this to me. But the truth is, those are just excuses. And every time you buy into them, you hand over your power. You give your life away to circumstances and other people. The good news is, the moment you take ownership, everything changes. Ownership is empowering. It says, no matter what has happened to me, I still have control over how I respond. And I can choose to learn, adapt, and rise. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't start with perfect circumstances. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty, abused as a child, and faced rejection after rejection in her career. She could have blamed her past, her lack of resources, or the people who told her she'd never make it. But instead, she took ownership. She decided her circumstances wouldn't define her, and she built a legacy that inspires millions. You see, blaming is like sitting in a sinking boat and arguing about who poked the holes. Ownership is grabbing a bucket and bailing out the water. Ownership is saying, this is my boat and I'm not going to let it sink. When you take ownership, you start to see challenges differently. Instead of being problems, they become puzzles to solve. Instead of feeling powerless, you feel capable. You realize that the only person who controls your destiny is you. Nobody's coming to save you. No knight in shining armor, no magical windfall, no perfect opportunity will suddenly appear to fix everything. That's okay, because you don't need saving. You need action. You need to take the reins and steer your life in the direction you want to go. Start by asking yourself the hard questions. Where have you been blaming others? Where have you been making excuses? Be honest with yourself. It's the first step to breaking free. Then ask yourself, what can I do right now to take ownership of the situation? It doesn't have to be a big step, but it has to be yours. Remember, life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every time you choose ownership over blame, you grow stronger. Every time you take responsibility, you take back your power. And over time, those small, consistent actions lead to massive change. So stop blaming and start owning. Own your past, own your mistakes, and own your future. Because at the end of the day, your life is yours to build. No more lies, no more excuses, no more waiting. The power to change is already in your hands. Use it.